So how do you avoid getting your Pokemon angry at you for something like this? You feed them a Pokepuff afterwards, of course. So the new Pokemon game is out and the TV ads say Arceus, so that's what we're going with. And while your little buddy can get totally dusted by a Hyper Beam from an Alpha Snorlax, just give them a Pokepuff after to raise their affection. Simple, right? To celebrate the release of the latest Pokemon game, we're going to make Pokepuffs. Basically, fancy cupcakes. Pokepuffs appear in the anime and manga, but for the games, they were first introduced in Pokemon X and Y as something called the Pokemon-Ami. It's essentially a way to deepen your bond with your Pokemon, so they fight harder and better and just go do your battles for you. There are 5 main flavors: sweet, mint, citrus, mocha, and spice, along with 5 levels: basic, frosted, fancy, deluxe, and supreme. Today, we're making 3 deluxe versions with varying degrees of success: mint, citrus, and chocolate. Fun fact of the video, I can't recall the last time I baked any sweets, so I'll be making plenty of mistakes so you don't have to. Let's start with the cupcake batter. Take 1 stick of room temp softened butter, which is about 8 tablespoons or half a cup, and mix with an electric mixer until creamy. Drop in 1 cup of granulated sugar and beat again to combine, and then add in 1 egg and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract and mix again. In a different bowl, combine 1 3/4 cups of flour, a half a teaspoon of salt, and 2½ teaspoons of baking powder. Take 1/3 of that mixture and add it to the batter mix along with a 1/4 cup of milk. Mix to combine and repeat 2 more times with 1/3 of your flour mix and a 1/4 cup of milk. Finally, when that's all incorporated, add in 2 tablespoons of canola oil and mix 1 more time. Separate the batter into thirds across 3 different bowls. Now it's time for the food coloring. Red and green to make brown, green for mint, and red and yellow to make orange. Play around with it until you get the colors that you'd like, but generally go 1 drop at a time. You can always add more, but you can't take any away. Once that's all mixed up, drop the batter into the cupcake molds. I tried this with 5 to 10 individual cupcake papers together to reinforce their shape, and it worked alright, but if you have a cupcake pan, use that. Since these are bigger cupcakes, I baked them at about 350 degrees for 25 minutes or so. To test if they are done, poke a toothpick into them until there's no batter sticking to the toothpick. While those are cooking, we can make the butter frosting and icing. Similar to the batter, we'll beat up a whole stick of room temp butter until creamy, and then add in 1 cup of powdered sugar and 1 tablespoon of milk and mix to combine. Repeat that 2 more times, each with a cup of powdered sugar and a tablespoon of milk, and finally mix in 1½ teaspoons of vanilla extract. Once done, separate into 3 bowls. For chocolate, add in about a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half of cocoa powder and mix. Mint will be green food coloring and a dash of mint extract. And for orange, we'll do about 3 drops each of red and yellow, but we'll also add in a dash of orange extract for some citrus flavor. Place those in piping bags, which you can find at the store, and place in the fridge to firm up a little bit. Next, the icing, which goes in between the cupcake and the frosting. Add in 2 cups of powdered sugar to a bowl along with 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract and about 4 teaspoons of water. Mix to combine until you have a thick mixture. And here's where we made our second mistake. We forgot to let the cupcakes cool completely, and they kind of collapsed under their weight of the icing and frosting. So, we'll pick up there and remix the icing and frosting and apply it to the now cooled cupcakes. To help keep the structure of the cupcakes, keep them in their paper cups. I'd also recommend using smaller cupcakes so they aren't as heavy. Remember, these are for Pokemon, so they're supposed to be smaller anyways. Simply spread the icing on the top and let it cool. Grab your chilled frosting and pipe onto the top in a circular motion. I didn't have any fancy end caps, sadly, but they still turned out alright. For the citrus Pokepuff, I found a citrus cookie and used a shot glass to make a moon shape. For the mint Pokepuff, I placed in a stick of a mint Kit Kat. And for the chocolate, I found these cool brownie wafers that ended up actually complementing the soft texture of the cupcake very well. And that's about it. The mint one still ended up kind of collapsing on itself, and I added too much frosting to the orange one. But the chocolate Pokepuff actually ended up looking pretty great. And while I may not be the best there ever was at baking, all 3 of these ended up tasting delicious.